whoever controls the funds is gonna get the blunt of the fingers, and all of the naysayers are gonna go against that person because you control the money.
Add up the expenses, it would have took a lot of money. There's people that think there was like tons of money being made off this. It's not reality. When you look at what their needs was versus what was coming in, it was starting to go up.
God got a plan for me, for me. I know God got a plan for me, for me.
Yo, before we get started, make sure you subscribe to my channel, hit the like button. Also, make sure you hit that notification bell so you can be notified for more videos like this one right here.
Video we haven't touched on in a while, man. The whole Whittaker situation, the YouTube screets are steadily, day for day talking about this shit.
I don't know how they do it.
I don't know either. We're gonna throw our 2 cents into the penny jar. Give our 2 cents on what we see when it comes to this situation from the fraud. We're gonna start from the investigation. WVSP, the Beckley Detachment of West Virginia State Police, is investigating a fraudulent scheme involving money and merchandise being sent to the Whittaker's family. The money is being sent to them via Eric Carroll and Patrick Rourke. This is all things we know, or, things that people who have been following know. The investigating officer is requesting any person who has sent any money or merchandise to these individuals or any other individual for the Whittaker family to contact and provide the information regarding that exchange. The point of contact is Corporal J.W. Gilkison at Beckley Detachment, and they even gave a number here. I'm not going to give the number. I bet his number has been blew fuck up by the YouTube streets.
Man, it's crazy. We're going to get into it. Especially here for both sides from Eric and Patrick. But I just want to say, if and only if. I know a lot of people feel like they scamming. But if it come back to them people were legit, it's gonna be kind of sad. But we have to wait and see now. We have to wait and see.
Yeah, and I mean, even if things can not look up on the surface, but at the end of it, if it's not something that is criminal by law, it's not something that's criminal by law.
Right.
So, as far as the contract, in which we're going to get into that first, probably the contract and all of that. As far as that contract goes, it's a little weird, and this contract was not notarized. There was no notary. There was no lawyer to witness. It was just a contract between citizens. That's what it was. And with that, go ahead.
Who signed
it? Betty, Larry, Eric, and Patrick, from what I know.
Okay, all right. That's all I need to know.
Yeah. 4 people, and there's been little clips and excerpts that I've seen from it, and I don't know the validity of those screenshots that I've seen, because you know how easy it is to doctor up things. But the contract did mention that it talked about media rights, like the Whittakers can't produce any media with soft white underbelly, which that's Mark. So that, I thought that was crazy that was in the contract.
Wow.
If that's allegedly in the contract. That's what I'm saying. All of this stuff, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah. All of this stuff, it's like, how do you know who to believe? What to believe? Do you believe what you see because you see it in front of your eyes? Because not everything you see in front of your eyes you can believe. Not everything that someone says out of their mouth you can believe. At this point in time, Patrick is the one who everybody is basically on Patrick's side at this point, and that's just what it is. So
Yeah, whoever controls the funds is gonna get the blunt of the fingers, and all of the naysayers are gonna go against that person because you control the money.
Yeah.
You know, and
The
Patrick put it out
platforms.
there and said I had no control of none of that shit.
Right.
Except his
Right.
page.
Right.
That's what he said.
Right. Right. In which even this clip right here, and we might as well go ahead and get into it. Yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
The contract says that from where we started at, that this is what the contract says. It says that any page that has any involvement, that has anything to do with the Whittakers, they get a third off of. Like I said, the only page that I own is my own. I have no.
So they get a third of any page. So that would include Patrick's solo page, Eric's solo page, because they were putting content up on both of these pages and every platform that Eric made, which was TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook. Eric made all of them. Eric is very savvy when it comes to media, and as you said, you know that's whoever did that or was the handler of that. That's where that's by default. That's where the finger's gonna point first. So
now, my question would be, how do Betty and Larry know what is the third? Are they showing them the revenue through these platforms of how much they're making so they can know that?
That's what I'm saying. The whole shit from the jump, from Jump Street, from 21 Jump Street, this whole shit, it kind of was like, and then on top of that, which Patrick's going to talk about in just a second, this clip ain't that long we listened to, but he talks about them getting checks. So if they had, okay, we got a third of the money for August or whatever month that was when they was putting out all that content out. Here's a third. This is for the Whittakers. So from there, you got that money, then you got two people. So that third would be split into two people. But if you give it to them, it's going to fuck up the check that they getting from the state. So
Exactly. Yeah.
we gonna
No control over the Whittaker Facebook page, and if anybody would, there's screenshots of it that I've sent to people before.
Yeah,
that says, yeah, I don't have no control over that.
So did you split your content money off of your personal page with the Whittakers and Eric?
No, it's still an account.
Why not? Is there?
There is a reason. There's a reason that I haven't, and I'll be damned if I'm going to go out here and work and to try to make their life better just so I can go down the road, hand it to Betty, and then BJ go down the road and spend it on Doug. That's not happening.
Pause that.
If they have a different method, and if there's a way, and you can't give them the money because they have checks.
That was the end of it right there, I think.
If you give them the money, it's done.
Yeah, that's it.
He don't. That's going against the contract, point blank period. If you had a contract said you got to give a third from your pages, you just got to do it, regardless. And I understand what he means by just giving them the money, and then BJ just running off with it. I get it.
Right.
But that's not a decision that you can make when you have a contract saying that every time you get paid, they get a third. You have to give them that money, bro.
Right. Regardless of what they're getting from the state, it's like if that's the contract. So that's the thing. Like they were supposedly trying to get things in place to make it all cohesive and all legal and all on the up and up, but was it on the up and up from the beginning? With that just being, are they gonna say, okay, we don't need the state no more? How, you think Betty gonna say, nah, we don't need the state no more? We rocking with Eric and Patrick now. We just give us our third. We want that third more than we want that what we've been getting for eons.
Nah, I don't even know. I don't even know I don't even know how they giving them the money. If they cash apping it, going to cash a check, placing the money in their hands. I don't know how this transfer is happening.
I think it's wire. Mark was wire transferring it. He's wire transfers to Betty's bank account.
Oh, okay, the Betty's bank account. So they can track if money's going inside a bank account. I get that.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe I'm thinking like maybe they cash a check and giving them the money. Here you go. That's
Right.
getting paid under the table, if you ask me.
Right. Or just come pulling up with some cash like, look.
Yeah.
Let me I mean, that's how else it's gonna be done without it being tracked, man. It's like, so yeah, Patrick, he spoke his piece, and the thing is, you hearing that he went back to. Let me go back.
If I'm going to go out here and work and to try to make their life better, just so I can go down the road, hand it to Betty, and then BJ go down the road and spend it on Doug. That's not.
That's the thing that we've been hearing this whole time. So, on the one hand, the state is involved. On the two hand, well, not the state, but you don't want the state to be, cut off their funds. So you can't give them for that reason. For two, you can't hit them with the finger under the table because of BJ. So that's what I'm saying. Like, the whole contract was null and void from the start. On top of that, there was no notary.
Right.
So
how's BJ taking the money? Was she just strong on him or something?
It's their love, man. It's just fam. That's all they know is BJ, man. That's all they know. It's like, so when it comes to that, it's like I'm at the point where it's like, if you trying to help somebody, is there stipulations? And I asked this question before as far as the stipulations, and then when I said that on that video, people were like, well, the abuse. Eric was talking about the abuse, and as soon as you hear abuse, you're like, well, I don't care if such and such happened, because the abuse, you can't do this, you can't, BJ's, she cannot be in the picture, they not getting the house, back to all that shit. So,
well, if BJ was somewhat allegedly harming Betty, and the money's going into her account, Larry can't make Betty give BJ any damn thing. Now, if I see if the account belonged to Larry, then that's a totally different subject, because we know he gonna get the money to BJ if she asks. We know that.
right.
But if Betty been dealing with trauma coming from BJ, why would she give her some money, bro? That's why I say, is she strong arming this shit?
I really think that when it comes to Larry, he's the most physically capable. I think he's the only one that actually can drive. So he kind of has he's got a, when it comes to the hierarchy of the family, he's here. Betty on the surface is, she's the matriarch, but when it comes to taking the trash out, this and that, doing this, they share responsibilities in a certain sense when it comes to making a house, in which the house is not made up very well. But even when they're, they share cooking responsibilities, he can drive. So that fact alone, I guess, of him being able to drive is something where, if he wants something, she's gonna bend a little bit, to keep the one who's kind of keeping all this shit going. Maybe that's it.
I don't know. I just feel like she still have the last say, whether she's gonna go in that bank account and hand him some money. If he said he needs the money, let's say for some groceries, and she handed to him, he go leave the house and come back with no groceries. Buddy, what happened to the goddamn groceries? Then, okay, you tricked me then. You won't trick me again. Because I know you just gave that money to BJ. I'm not stupid.
Right.
Simple as that.
I mean, that's logic. That's logic, but I think what this family, this is not it's like trying to put a square peg in a round hole. Like, that's her brother's daughter. Her loyalty lies with her brother and her family overall. And that's just how I feel like that's just how it's set up. So,
it's almost a lose-lose situation.
It seemed like it. We can take that other one down. Okay, so here's Eric's response to a lot of things. Let me take this off. Remove from studio. Okay, so this is Eric's kind of just talking more about things, and I kind of clipped it, but I didn't clip it disingenuously to make him sound like, I basically clipped it to keep it on, the topics we're talking about,
Right.
So.
When I started seeing this thing was going off the rails, I said, Patrick, you're going to have to do that on your own. I don't want to be involved in that with you. You create your own, I'll handle my own because I know I can handle my end. And for the Whittakers, we're going to get them a trust account so we can make sure if something happens to Betty and Larry, that the other three.
So at the beginning, he was talking about an LLC, and they wanted to set up an LLC. And I guess Patrick, at the beginning, he's like, he's seen things going wrong. The LLC thing, he didn't think. He's like, you get your own, I'll get my own. ... That's kind of was the context of where this conversation started.
Along the way, when I started seeing this thing was going off the rails, I said, Patrick, you're going to have to do that on your own. I don't want to be involved in that with you. You create your own, I'll handle my own because I know I can handle my end. And for the Whittakers, we're going to get them a trust account so we can make sure if something happens to Betty and Larry, that the other three are taken care of. That was my goal from the very beginning. It was one thing to get them a house, but if something happens to Betty and Larry, the other three that can't talk.
And I think the reason why he was trying to do this is maybe a trust account doesn't affect the checks. Because he was hell-bent on this trust account, which I do think it should be running through another filter, between the money and the people. So maybe that's the reason why he was trying to get the trust account. I don't know.
Maybe, just maybe. I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah.
Are going to need someone there 24/7 to make sure they are taken care of, that they're fed, that they're clothed, the whole 9 yards. And then they still have groceries and other things, guys. When you add up the expenses, it would have took a lot of money. There's people that think there was like tons of money being made off this. It's not reality. When you look at what their needs was versus what was coming in, it was starting to go up. I was up.
So when he says that, when you look at the needs of them, which in my mind, logically, I can't help but think the needs of them with all of the checks that were coming into the house can be taken care of with the checks. But that's just me.
See, I don't know how much those checks were, so it's hard for me to say that, including what the state was giving them, then including what they was making off of social media. I believe they was making a pretty penny. Third, whatever. It makes me think, bro. Let's look at it like this. The state was giving them funds to help them because, of course, they understand the situation they're in, everything. But obviously, let's just think about if Eric and Patrick was not helping them. Some people say they were scamming them. The state wouldn't be enough to help them people live a decent life. Of course, I know they're not going to pay for your living, but look at this family, bro. Think about that.
I think what they were getting was well enough because they before all of this, that whole time between Mark and now, dogs still had food, dogs still running around looking, they came back, everything was the same. Now they might not have had as much food in the house. They might, things might have been a little tighter, but I do believe, especially with the fact that their house isn't on their land. So if they're paying taxes for land and there's no house on it, the taxes, they're not near what they would be if there was a house on the land because their house is across the street off of their land. So the taxes, they wasn't, they're not paying no mortgage on that house. They not, they're paying for water, gas, electricity. I mean, what else? Maybe a little trash bill or something,
Let's go back to the point. I remember you brought this up to me that what is the toilet system, the water where it was
Oh
running
yeah,
to.
it's running out the back.
That should have been fixed, bro.
All these years it wasn't. So you flush it down the toilet and run straight out the back of the house into the damn pond.
That's disgusting, bro. I don't know.
So I don't think it. I think if Eric and Patrick were never involved, this family would be,
Fine.
they would be fine for them. For the average watcher and viewer, you would see it. Oh wow, you see that this is so and it's bad. It's terrible. But what's terrible to us ain't terrible to everybody. Like how we was talking about how Ray having that smile on his face all the time,
right.
and how he don't, that's all he knows, so he doesn't think like everybody else. So
it's okay for them to accept it because they know no better. And we know by watching them, their living arrangements is bad. Regardless of how much money they get from the states, they accept what they got. But we know that shit right there is not cool the way they're living.
True.
I don't know, man. I get what you're saying. If they was living off the state, yeah, but damn, I don't know about that, bro.
Yeah.
They're busting my butt. That first and second trip I was up there, I was spending my money from projects I worked on outside of that to make sure I was taking care of them. I have to be able to support myself and my family, but look at what I was doing. I wasn't exploiting them. Up until then, they had been the inbred family out of Odd, West Virginia, the freak show. One of the things that makes me more proud than anything I can say on the face of this earth, there is a 72-year-old man that I am responsible for making sure he went to his first and only doctor's visit in his life. Planned doctor visit. I was told maybe sent to the emergency room years ago for a snake bite.
Talking about Ray.
Planned doctor's visit. I took him there, got him some medicine, and he became a new person almost right away. He had been neglected for years, guys. And I really, really hope he's okay right now. I do believe he's in a much better situation than he was before. Things people don't think of on the other side of the camera when you're just watching the videos. You see those jeans and how dirty they were. That's defecation. That's urination. That has been done. He's not wearing any underwear. I had him by the belt loop, keeping him steady, holding up his pants. Come here. You're a beautiful human being, and you need someone to love and take care of you right now. Birthday, first ice cream cake, singing. You saw the man singing. They are beautiful people that have been taken advantage of and exploited, and I can't stand it. I couldn't watch this go on anymore, guys. When I found out what I found out, especially with abuse on top of it, I can't be a part of this. I can't, and I don't want to be. My attorney sent out letters letting them know I am out, but I need full documentation of all expenses, everything that's came in, so I can do everything by the book.
So this is the part I want to talk about. He says lawyers sent over basically a request of information, basically. And with that, I mean, no one ever knew that there would be an investigation in this. No one ever knew. How many receipts, as far as expenses, do you think Patrick has?
Probably none.
As far as income, that's a little easier to track. But then again, the reason why that's not easy to track is because if someone sends you a donation, and a donation on its head is just a generous act. This is a donation. Here, Patrick. They're giving it to Patrick. If he's making money off of his page, we know what the contract said. So everything that I'm saying about Patrick applies to Eric. So when Eric was going live, on YouTube, let's just take YouTube. Simply put, YouTube, super chat. People were banging that super chat. And in those donations, I've even seen with my own two eyes, people saying like, this is for you, Eric. Like people gave out of the kindness of their heart to these two people as well. So how do you differentiate what donation is to where, and how do you bookkeep something like that, even from an accountant's perspective?
You can't going off that contract. You can't. The contract says they get a third. They didn't specify, unless it says directly, "This is your money." That wasn't in the contract, I don't believe. So you got to understand the content still is of the Whittakers. So
right.
they're gonna get donations that may say this is for you, but they wouldn't get that donation if this content wasn't about the Whittakers.
Right. So, and furthermore, if it's not notarized, then what does that hold up in an investigation?
No way.
I don't know.
Was it intentionally not notarized? Or is that something that you can say they was ignorant to the fact that they had to do to make it a legit contract?
That's another question. That's another question.
See, and that's the difference between scamming and just not knowing, bro.
Right.
I think when you scamming, you maliciously trying to take money from people, man. And
right
at the end of the day, if they just don't know, it's a mistake, not a scam.
And that's I definitely I touched on that real quick. As far as that goes, because the words you were using, malicious, intentional, these are words in the law, in West Virginia state law. When I looked at the code of their fraud laws and all of that, those are the words that are used. So they have to prove, if there's any investigation, people can send in, Cash App receipts to their blue in the face.
Thanks.
But if they can't prove that it was done with malicious intent and intentionally done to do this, then, I mean, there's a lot of things that they're not good. But in society, there's a lot of things that aren't good, but you can go to court and you can walk out of court the same day with, the case dismissed because nobody can prove. So
I think at the end of the day, regardless which way this investigation goes, it's over. It's over because let's say, for instance, they came out clean, and I'm just using that loosely. They ain't going back down this road no more. If they come back that they were dirty, of course, they ain't going back down this road no more. So it's over. It's over with these guys. Anybody else decide to step up and try this same shit again after Martin did it, and these two done try to do it, that's damn near insanity, bro.
Well, there's a guy named Brian, in which he stepped up to the plate. He's vowed every dollar to be given to them directly in some form or fashion. He pulled up, gave them groceries. I think it's Brian Stokes or Brian S. But and he's claiming some other things as well. I didn't want to get into the whole Brian thing because he's became big on Facebook and he's a whole nother character, man. But far as Patrick, he's not giving up. He's still, on his Facebook posts, I'm fighting for the Whittakers. I've rededicated my life to, he puts up these posts on Facebook, and I feel like he's not actually typing these posts because the way he talks, he has kind of a scattered speech. When I say scattered, it's just, very, kind of all over the place. And then you see this eloquently written Facebook post. It's like, I don't think that it doesn't add up. But
I wrote that shit for him, bro.
And ChatGPT maybe. But let's finish out this here.
Send out letters letting them know I am out, but I need full documentation of all expenses, everything that's came in, so I can do everything by the book to the T. I have my receipts. I have everything ready to go, but I don't have that on their end. I'm not an accountant. I suck at that. I know I do. That's why I get people to do that. I can only keep my focus on one thing for so long, and numbers isn't one of them. That's why I talked to an accountant. That's why I was consulting an attorney about the trust.
So yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we at, you know. You type in Whittaker Family on YouTube, you got Cajun News, you got Lady K, the Toddy, you got the bearded guy, don't forget his name. Ton of people talking about this ad nauseum. But when I said what I said about a month ago now, with this investigation, do not be surprised if you don't hear an update from the police department. I'm gonna just say that.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it came from some viewers who felt like this family was being scammed, and I guess they got enough reports, so they said we investigate it. And like you said, if they don't give you an update, it's like this is it's not enough to accuse or to charge them with anything, to convict them of anything, because like you said, from the jump, it wasn't done correctly.
Right. And they're gonna find that out when they start looking into this.
Yeah.
If we seeing that just from looking at some videos, definitely the investigators who are in contact with Adult Protective Services, of course, they're gonna find out the same thing.
Yep.
I'm no investigator. We're no investigators, but
no.
I mean, just the fact that it wasn't notarized, that alone, it's like,
no good deed goes unpunished, man.
But yeah.
But we'll see, man. Good luck to Eric and Patrick. You know, my heart goes out to the Whittakers. I hope everything works out for the good. We'll get up out of here. We'll see y'all next time, or we might not see y'all next time. But we're gone for now.